Welcome to the 359. I'm Roger Chang.
I'm Ayaz Akhtar.
I'm Mike Sorrentino.
So Avengers Endgame hits theaters tomorrow night, but Ayaz, Mike, and I had a chance to see it early with the movie poised to be probably the biggest opening weekend of all time with maybe $1 billion. The big question is it worth it? And let's not get into spoilers, but ultimately, is this worth it for you too?
Yes.
All right, we're done. Podcast
Really
is
easy.
over.
I could say more. You go first.
Sure. This has been 10 years or 11 years of storytelling.
Yep.
This thing is setting up the end of the first set of 10 years, and we're setting up the next 10 years. I think it's a lot. There's a lot of fan service. It's awesome. It's fitting, and it's 3 hours, and it for some reason does not drag.
Yeah, that's what I found really impressive about this thing was that it had a lot of masters to serve, right? It had to basically pay off a lot of the loose ends from 11 years of storytelling. There were tons of characters involved. There were tons of stories, and really set things up for the next 10 years. And it actually kind of succeeded in doing all of that. And it was, like you said, it was a very satisfying conclusion, right?
I remember telling both of you, too, when we began, I expected to just leave to go to the bathroom because of the 3-hour length.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, just tell me what I'm going to miss because I'm doing the review. But we never left. I don't even think anyone in the theater left.
I noticed
just
no
breezed
one,
by.
no one left. Everyone was stuck to their seats. They're riveted the entire time. Ultimately, though, if you're not a hardcore MCU fan, are you going to appreciate this movie? Is this for you?
I think as a spectacle, it could be enjoyable if you just want to watch some dumb action and you don't really care who the characters are.
Right.
But if you did the investment of the 10 years or even like half of that, or some of the characters, you're going to have a huge payoff for everything. So I think a casual moviegoer will go, whoa, that was incredibly insane.
Right.
Might be like, it's also 3 hours. Why am I paying attention to this character?
Right.
But I think it's going to hit both audiences.
We had differing opinions, too, about which movies. In my opinion, you only really need Infinity War and maybe watching Captain Marvel's mid-credit scene. But other people feel different things. And there's definitely lots and lots of hat tips if you've watched substantially more than that, of course.
For me, it's really if you've watched the movies that the Russo brothers, who directed this film, the ones that they've been a part of, I think that's sort of a good roadmap for what. There are definitely callbacks to other things. There are a lot of deep cuts in there, but can't wait for everyone to see it. Like I said, it opens up Thursday night, tomorrow night. Next up, the Galaxy Fold launch has been delayed to some unknown future date at this point, but we do have our review up. It's sort of a review of what is, I guess, now a pre-production unit, but Jessica Dorcourt, bottom line, says that it is a fascinating piece of technology with this folding gimmick that really wows you, but definitely shows signs that it's a first-generation product that needs a lot of polish.
Yeah, I watched the review this morning. At the end, she explained how it's a premium-priced product, but it doesn't feel premium because the apps and everything don't work just quite right yet. And since it's the beginning of this kind of style, it's going to take a long time for app developers to figure out how to automatically have the app switch from the front to the back to the front, or inside, outside, that kind of situation. And the intuitiveness of how to do multitasking on a device like this, because it's essentially an Android tablet, and that doesn't have a lot of foothold in the marketplace.
It reminds me a bit of the red hydrogen phones launch. Very expensive, very high-end, high-concept idea, but not for everyone. But it was confusing because Samsung was marketing this sort of as, a luxury device for people, not really as a developer sort of thing, but now kind of is.
That's ultimately what it is, right? It is a developer device. It's a test bed device for foldable phones, for the broader foldable phone market. And so I'm hoping that the issues here don't curtail that broader thing. Because right now, we don't need foldable phones. We can get along just fine without them. But I think the fact that this opens the door to so many different kinds of devices is what's the most exciting part for me. For more on these stories, check us out on CNET. I'm Roger Chang.
I'm Ayaz Akhtar.
I'm Mike Sorrentino.
Thanks for listening.
That was tighter than I expected, actually, with the video.
You saw this report, right?
Yeah, we're matching that.
Okay, thanks everybody for joining us for the discussion. Go ahead and send in your comments and questions about the topics at hand today. I see that there's already plenty of Avengers chatter coming through. Remember, spoiler free. That's the only rule today. Well, that and, be kind to each other, but you're all pretty good at that. We have a couple of CNETers currently out there doing the marathon, am I right? Or they finished it.
We have one. Thanks for reminding me. I kind of forgot to bring it up during our podcast, but Abrar Al-Hidi is she is the lone volunteer for CNET going through the, I believe, 59
59 hours.
59-hour marathon, watching every single film. in the MCU leading up to Endgame. And the fun thing about it is that she's not at all a Marvel fan. She's only watched like 3 of them, 3 of the more recent ones. So she's already gone through, I think, well, at this point, the last I checked in with her was like 9 movies.
So
but
I just looked up her Twitter 15 minutes ago. She watched and loved The Winter Soldier, which is my personal favorite Marvel
Winter
movie.
Soldier's great.
That's a good one.
I mean, that's if you were feeling down after a couple of like the early ones, that's definitely a good pick me up. I, for one, could not see myself sitting in a theater for 59 hours. Mike and I actually ran into someone during our press screening who was going to another theater for his 59-hour marathon. He had done it the year previously.
He was wearing the medal. He seemed excited about it, but I was a
Yeah.
bit like, I kind of want to check in with you in 2 days. And
I know, to see
feel.
how you, do you need medical assistance?
He did note that after he sees Endgame, he's going to see it again, not just because he's a fan,
Yeah.
but because he's not going to know
It's
what's
not gonna
happening
be
anymore.
lucid at that
Yeah, it's gonna be
point.
quite
Yeah.
loopy. I'm looking at the movies that she had to watch before Iron Man 3, then there was Thor: The Dark World, and then Captain America's Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier, by comparison to those last 4 hours, would be like, I mean, it's good on its own.
Yeah.
Then you got Guardians coming up, which is awesome. Avengers: Age of Ultron, which is, I think, better. It's better than you remember. And then Ant-Man, which is just fun.
She's fighting the good fight right now.
She really is. So stay on CNET. She's and her Twitter feed. She's updating things on Twitter. We're doing constant updates on her post on CNET to see whether or not she's still sane.
I strongly endorse following her Twitter. It's been a very enjoyable experience. You're living vicariously through someone who is like, oh, what did I sign up for?
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and take some comments and questions. JJIPR25 coming in from the Philippines. What's up? Thanks for chiming in. Says today is the first day of showing of Avengers here in the Philippines. Every cinema is packed. Tons and tons of people until the last full show. No doubt that's going to be the worldwide phenomenon, but glad to hear a formal report coming in from a fan from the Philippines.
There you go.
Eli's awesome video says, I cannot wait because Spider-Man is coming back. Let's go ahead and use that as a platform to chime around and find out who is everyone's favorite.
In this movie or just in
In
general?
just in general.
Let's go in the MCU at large.
Roger?
Putting me on the spot. I mean, I've always liked Iron Man because I like robots, and that's the closest you'd get to like a mech. I'm geeky like that.
Vision?
Vision is kind of mech.
I know, but like there
But
wasn't
not
enough
exactly.
development of Vision for me to really care about him.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's seen enough videos with me, and I usually am wearing a Captain America shirt, I have like 10 of them.
Yeah.
So Cap's my guy, and even in the MCU and the books, because he was very uncool in the 90s. And then Mark Waid fixed him, and I'm like, this is amazing. I read the books, and I was like, wow, Cap's cool. And then I'm stuck with him.
This moment, I am still particularly fond of Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes.
Oh.
I just like the action sequences they put together and the whole like good, evil, what's going on. I was rewatching Civil War over the weekend again,
Yeah.
and it was like, it's really cool action. I like, of the movie characters, that's currently my favorite.
There you go.
I have
Brian?
yet to really find a portrayal of any of this cast that I find poor. Everybody has done really great. Some have had a lot more to work with. Of course, you have to love Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of Tony Stark. That is quite possibly one of the most perfect casting calls I've ever witnessed in film.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I've always had a soft spot. I really enjoy Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow. I think she gave a depth to that character that you sometimes miss in the comics. But the one that kind of like caught me off guard is Ruffalo as the Hulk and Banner, because I was a big fan, no shame, of the Ed Norton Incredible Hulk movie. And I was really pissed when I found out that he wasn't coming back to reprise that role. But after you get a few minutes with Ruffalo, you go, oh yeah, that's the way it should have been the whole time. And I think he's the guy who steals the show for me. Plus, being himself, like, he's a super fan, so you really enjoy his like energy, like off camera too, like behind the scenes, and how much of a geek out fanboy he is. He's an enjoyable actor overall. That's my 2 cents.
That's true. A lot of the Disney actors are they're good at media appearances. But if you think of Edward Norton, you don't think the same thing.
No.
I know. I learned he's kind of a jerk after the fact,
That's a
and it's
shame.
like, okay, well, I guess I'm not that surprised by it. I legitimately liked that Incredible Hulk movie, and like the way he brought that character to life. I liked that they had him on the road. It felt like a callback to the old TV show, which really kind of hit home for me, and that's why I like that one so much. Michael Brown says, unfortunately for me, my favorite character was Killmonger. Oh, sorry, dude.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No. Just the fact that he's dead and he can't be
Yeah,
unsnapped.
that's. I mean, it's a good character to if you're gonna have a villain to root for, that's the
No,
one.
not
they,
bad.
they set him up to like you understood what was going on with that character. Unfortunately, I guess does it matter if say Black Panther's spoilers a year later?
No, I think we're good. I think
Yeah, he's just not in it. Oh, he just said he's dead. I guess
he's
so.
dead. I'm sorry. Like, well, you know what? It's a comic book universe. Like, people can get resurrected all the time.
Yeah.
so-
Yeah, there's no rules. It's
mean,
like a
definitely.
soap
Get a
opera.
miniseries on Disney Plus or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I'd
like
watch
a
that.
prequel series.
Come longer to the show. It's
Not
big.
exactly
Jordan.
family friendly, but
Put it
yeah.
on Hulu. They got space.
There you go. There
I
you
mean,
go.
Daredevil wasn't family friendly. I could see them doing a darker edge show, kind of like that, with him like growing up.
With Disney Plus though, that was my point.
I
I don't
maybe
know,
they'll develop a rating system. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yan Hao Chen says, I like Doctor Strange. I want to go ahead and add one more to my list. M'Baku. M'Baku
Oh,
was my
yeah.
favorite part of Black Panther, hands down. Yan Hao Chen also asks, and we're not going to spoil anything, promise. He's just asking, how many post-credit scenes are there?
I mean, we could talk about that openly, right?
Yes.
There's none.
At our screening, there was none, but
Yeah.
sometimes this has changed in the past.
Ooh.
Yes.
Like in the original Avengers, that scene that was tacked on at the end was not there.
And
for
the
screeners.
actually the original Iron Man, I remember I went to a premiere screening. They did not have the post credit.
You're part of a larger universe.
Yeah, the Samuel L. Jackson
So
thing
we'll
was
know.
not there.
We'll know more later this week.
There was, I believe, some speculation. There was like a clanking noise or some noise as the Marvel logo flashed. So
I think the three, at least for me, we were too busy being like, "Whoa, I didn't do it," but allegedly there's a sound. But
yeah, but
Yeah,
there-
I
what does that
mean,
do for us?
Ultimately, if you really need to pee, which I needed to when the credits began, like you can feel free to get up and go.
Yeah, there's an article on CNET about when's the best time to go to the bathroom during
Yes.
this. Now, I think it's not bad as a skeleton because, like, I think no part of this should be missed
Yeah,
if you can afford it. But the ones that they chose, I thought were perfect.
We're pretty good. Yes, absolutely. And I agree, though. It's like this is not a movie you want to get up at any point. You just don't want. It's so packed with material, good material, that like there really isn't a dead spot for you to go pee. So really, just hold it in or use a cup.
I heard some theaters
Don't
were
use a
providing bedpans and catheters.
I'm sorry, Brian. What?
I heard some theaters are providing bedpans and catheters.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be
that's
great.
the 5D experience.
Yeah.
like the biggest cons I've seen in other reviews, including mine, is that it may feel a little messy as a result.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
so much story
Because you peed
that
yourself?
maybe just for the sake of your head, you may want to take a break to go to the bathroom. Because
Also, I feel like
there's a lot.
if you think through certain logic bits, it like doesn't all hold together.
No.
But it's fine. It's an entertaining ride, absolutely. But yeah, if you
Logic.
start thinking about it too closely, but that's kind of like every
Logic
Marvel
in
movie or
comics,
every-
are you kidding me?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if they give you enough time to think because you're
No,
moving
that's
so
true.
fast.
You are moving. The pace is extremely brisk.
You don't have enough
so-
time to go like, wait, that was dumb. You're like, wait, what's happening now?
Yeah,
What's
yeah, yeah.
It's like squirreling all day.
So stay on your toes for those post credits. Like they said, they didn't get any. I'm kind of not surprised. It almost makes sense. It's like after this marathon run of the last 10 years, this is the first real breath, I would say. Because this is, without spoiling anything, it is the conclusion of what we've been through so far. So it almost feels appropriate for them to be like, and the book is closed. Yay, nay?
Yeah,
All right, fine.
yeah.
Without delving any deeper into it. Great point being made by Eric Ryder. He says, it's a comic book movie. Does anybody really stay dead? Look at Red Skull.
That is true.
I don't want to
That
talk
was
about
an
that question.
awesome moment in
Well,
Infinity
just in
War.
general, yes. Like not with this movie, specific to this movie. Just like the idea of a character
Mm-hmm.
being dead doesn't necessarily mean they stay dead. Although I think they're better at it than
Mm-hmm.
comic books in general. Comic books are far
But
worse.
it's ridiculous
It's a
in comic books.
totally
They
a
make
revolving
fun of
door.
it in
Yeah.
the lines now.
Yeah.
Speaking of comic books, Yan Hao Chen is asking, how, as fans and readers ourselves, how close of an interpretation to pre-existing comic storylines do we have in this Endgame? Because Infinity War was kind of staged and set up from a story called Infinity War, but it did not actually
Right.
portray that story arc in the books. Endgame is kind of a beast in itself, right? What kind of source material you think, without
I wouldn't
giving it
get.
away?
Well, for one, I don't actually know because I didn't read the comics. I kind of know how that Infinity stuff ended in the comics. I would say everyone's just going to be in for a lot of surprises. That's probably a safe thing to say.
Okay, I think it borrows a lot from modern comics, and when you hear certain things, you'll be like, I recognize that, but you wouldn't have to even read the books to enjoy the scenes.
Right.
I can't give anything away.
Yeah. I think it for a lot of folks, it's not going to go the way people think it will.
if you can't wait till tomorrow, go ahead and like rent the book somewhere, read the book. It's a fun read. It's been around for a while. The Infinity Gauntlet, would it be? Or it would be...
Is it
There's Infinity Gauntlet, there's Infinity War.
Well, War's got.
That's
I
a
can't say
sequel.
anything, so never mind.
Yeah,
In the comics, anyway.
yeah.
Eric also asked, should we start crying now? I have tickets for 7 o'clock Friday night.
You'll do that during the movie, and then you'll be laugh during the movie, and then you'll cry during the movie,
Right.
and then you'll be excited during the movie. You're going to be doing all of that.
Yeah, save your emotions for the screening. Just enjoy your pre.
Not that Disney World would ever have a 3-hour ride, but it kind of does have that sort of sense, like...
That is a
Kind
roller
of on a
coaster
ride.
ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
So,
Although I'm glad there's no motion seating. I would not... I'm just not into motion seating personally, but like...
So yeah,
Smell-o-vision.
do we think this is a good one for, just because of the immense length of and intensity of it, regular theater, IMAX theater, 4DX theater? Where should you go see this?
I would say IMAX.
IMAX.
Not 3D, but I hate 3D, so I'm biased against it.
I-
Like the biggest screen possible.
We didn't see it in IMAX, but there were
Yeah.
some sequences that I clearly need to now see in
Yeah,
IMAX.
yeah,
Yeah.
And they shot the whole thing in IMAX too, so...
yeah.
It's a very big movie. It needs a very big screen.
Just be careful because there are a lot of theaters that call their screens IMAX, which it's like licensed. It's not really an IMAX screen. Like you should, if you really want to get the full experience, you should like find a legit IMAX screen to watch this on.
Well, Mike, your review stated that it's got some of the most intense, best fleeting action scenes out there. I'd say if somebody out there is already prone to motion sickness and has struggled with IMAX in the past, maybe dodge that bullet.
Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah,
if you
that's
feel
true.
sick, like,
Yeah.
same with 3D, though. If 3D makes you sick, don't go to 3D.
or just don't go to 3D in general because it's goddamn.
Although I do wish that, like, I don't know, planetariums are my favorite IMAX screens, so I kind of want to go
I
to a
know.
planetarium.
That would be amazing.
Oh my God, yes. I would give my right arm for that.
We were in a theater, by the way,
right,
where
Bucky.
like the largest IMAX screen in New York City was like above us.
Yeah.
And like part of me was thinking at that time, like, man, I really wish we were watching it just one level up.
We even told the guy
lay
in
all
the
the way back.
55-hour marathon, I wish they moved you into the IMAX screen
I know.
after
It
all
was like
that
the
time.
payoff for the 55.
That person
59
can't
hour.
move after that
And
many
they're paying
hours.
$125
You're going to have to be
ticket.
wheeled in and like sat down in their own filth. You can't just mess up both seats.
Oh.
Come on, people.
Okay, so inevitable question. Now that we have somewhat closed, or will be somewhat closing the book on what has been a renaissance in comic book movies, has this reinvigorated the big blockbuster comic book movie fad that's going on, trend? Is it only lending to the potential fatigue that a lot of people are starting to experience? Ultimately, Michael Brown wants to know, do we feel like after this, the comic book movie craze will start to fade out?
I don't think so. I don't know if it like fully reinvigorates. I think it just keeps the machine going.
It's not going to convert anyone who doesn't like these movies.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I don't think it's gonna start a new renaissance, but it's also not like the end of comic book movies. It smartly sets things up for the future, but it's again, like to your point, if you weren't into this stuff already, you're probably not going to be into it, going forward.
I can imagine this film is almost like it's such a large movie. It's almost almost a reset. The next ones will be much smaller. And when we get back to a large movie, it's going to take a couple of years before we see something
Yeah,
like...
I'm kind of hoping that there are less links going forward between the movies. Like, it felt like towards the end, I was half the enjoyment of some of those movies were like watching how they connected to other movies, and like that diminished the value of that movie as its own standalone piece of entertainment. So I'd like to see more of a focus on like making sure that that movie by itself is great, right?
Here's an interesting one from Sebi. He says, can you guys help me? Someone spoiled a death in the comments section, and I'm not sure if I can believe them. Can you guys divert my expectations somehow into not believing them?
Don't believe the internet right now.
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
believe
it's-
anything.
No, now that I've seen it, I was trying to seek out some of them to see what was credible, and there were plenty of lies out there, so don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
same thing. I've seen a lot of reports that are just completely wrong. So I wouldn't put any value in that until you see it yourself.
I'll give away one spoiler. Meek survives. Nobody?
Does
Nothing?
Does he though? No. Well, I'm not going to comment on that. Meek, from Thor Ragnarok.
With Korg and Meek.
The little,
Oh, those
the
two
little,
characters.
My name's Korg,
little
it's my
buggy
friend
I'm not
Meek.
talking about them.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Septo and Meek squished him. Come on.
No, I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
Fine, leave me hanging. Thanks a lot, guys.
can't
Okay,
talk about it.
moving
Let's
on.
talk about it.
Moving on to the Galaxy Fold with the last few remaining minutes. On the topic of Galaxy Fold, can we start placing our bets on Apple owning the folding smartphone market now? That comes from guess who? Michael Brown.
I think it's a little too early for Apple to bet on anything, or to bet on Apple for any of this stuff. I think Apple probably sees what's going on right now, and they're probably pushing back their plans by like another year. Part of the issue right now is a lot of this foldable, actually all the foldable phones use plastic screens, and if I'm Apple, I'm probably thinking about employing foldable glass, which Corning is working on, but that's still a couple years away from being really mass market ready. So, and Apple doesn't do anything like, it doesn't do what Samsung does in terms of putting out this like premium niche product for like a couple thousand people, right? Apple does things in mass. So even if it is a premium product, they're intending to sell tons of that premium product. So until this stuff is bulletproof, I don't think they're going to touch the foldable phone market.
Then when they do, it's so like is it iMac Pro or Mac Pro? Those are just super high-end computers.
Yeah. And they're going to
like
claim that they're, you know,
$4,000.
the first to use, they're the first to a foldable phone, like they always do. Look at this, the first time anyone's used a foldable glass display or something, you know, they'll tout it as a first. It won't be.
It's
obviously.
an iPad. It's a camera.
Yeah.
It's an iPhone. Are you getting?
Every Android phone maker will tear their hair out like, oh no, but we've been doing this for years.
But they do have a better tablet system. I will say that so far.
The iPad?
iPad's
Absolutely.
got some very mature multitasking.
It's got an ecosystem, yeah.
The multitasking, the apps are built for
Yeah.
it. A lot of the OS is built for it.
Right.
So that's an advantage they'll have, unless Android Q really fixes a lot of that.
Right, we'll see. Jury's out on that.
Yeah, give it time, and Apple will claim they invented the computer. By the way, Corning represent. I like this advice from Kilama. Says, live like Bird Box until Avengers comes out. I think that is good advice for everybody, which is going to be wonderful for me because I can't see it this weekend due to personal complications, and I have to coexist around jerks like Ayaz who have all the information and are going to probably inevitably accidentally spoil it for me.
I like how he just called Ayaz out, not us. That's great.
I work with Ayaz
Well,
more than...
of the three, I'm the biggest jerk here.
There you go. Agreed.
No hesitation. So Jess's Fold is going strong. I'm sure everybody in San Francisco has mucked around with it as well. You guys, you have had very limited access to it, though, unfortunately, right?
I've tried. No, I've actually had.
Oh,
a chance.
you did get time with it.
I was out in SF when Jess came back, and so I got a chance to play with it. And you know, like I think to her point, like it looks premium on the outside. You know, the kind of the metal hinge and all that other stuff, and then you kind of fold it. You unfold it, and the folding mechanism is great. It works fine, but then you start to see like little creases here and there, and you're sort of like, I don't know if it's really worth $2,000, even if it does work.
Yeah, the thing that
as promised.
The thing that concerns me is that plastic screen getting dense.
Yeah,
Because it's not glass, and you can't put a cover on it unless you have like two halves.
and it'll get
I guess, maybe.
scratches. I mean, it's plastic.
That's the
it's gonna
thing.
scratch.
I saw dents on it already. I've seen
Yeah.
scratches on it,
Yeah.
and that I'm thinking, like I couldn't imagine
That
at
and
this
that,
point.
but that is not unique to Samsung. I think every foldable phone is going to have this issue. Huawei's Mate X, their displays are on the outside, so I can imagine they're going to get scratched
They'll
up
get
even
dinged.
worse. Yeah.
I also just felt I was kind of annoyed when a few years ago we moved to like the $1,000 phone world, and
Yeah.
now it's clearly moving all the way up to 2,000 and 3,000
Yep.
with that. But it's not for everybody, so that's all right. If you don't, no one has to get one of these phones anyway.
No.
All right, we're almost out of time, but real quick, Jan wants to know, Ayaz, are you going to Google I.O.?
I am going to I/O. If you go to the Google I/O page, the events page, there was a picture of me up actually at some point. So
Wait, what?
I'm staring at a flower very angrily because the flower could react to emotions or facial expressions, and it would change colors. So
Wait, the Google I/O official page?
Uh-huh.
You were on there.
and I was like, hey guys, maybe you should give me a press pass this year. And they're like, yeah, maybe we should. So
there you
I'll
go.
I'll be there.
It's
Is it
still
still there?
Is it-
There I am, right there.
That
I know I can't put
is
it on the screen right
bizarre.
now, but you go to Google I/O and scroll
And
down.
you've really
the
got a
page.
great
It
reaction
is a
to
wonderful
it. It's like he's
image.
hulking out to it.
I'm wearing the same wristband and the same glasses.
same shirt.
Not, yeah, I was thinking about wearing my Shinsuke shirt, but I didn't. I didn't wear my Shinsuke shirt today. That's for later.
When is I.O. again?
It's the 7th through the 9th of May, and we'll have a live show at CNET on the 7th. I'll be going on the 8th and 9th to get videos and to bug people, and there I am. That's on the official Google
Yeah.
page for I.O., and that's real. That was very strange. A friend of mine found that. I was like, why is this?
I'm really glad they worked out getting you a press pass.
I'm like, that's me. Come on, man. And they've used my videos in their the Pixel launch. At
Oh,
the very
yeah.
beginning. So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
I know you
remember
guys are
that.
watching my show, and I know you had a Pixel Park section in the Pixel event. It's like, My bit.
It's pretty cool though. I mean, there's a lot of people who talk Google specifically in the YouTube and tech news world, but you're one of very few that cite Alphabet at large. So I think that's a testament.
I am the weirdo. I'm the jerkiest.
Truth. All right, that's it for us today. Again, thanks everybody for not being spoilery jerks. Looking forward to hearing everybody's full review when the movie comes out. Feel free to tag us on Twitter. We'll talk about it. I'll always talk comic books. Just do me a favor, wait until next week when I finally get to see it, because I have, again,
don't read our site on Friday or this weekend, Brian. Just FYI.
I never do anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks for your questions and comments. We'll be back tomorrow. Roger!
Yes, the 359 is available on iTunes, TuneIn, FeedBurner, Stitcher, Google Play, Google Podcasts, the Amazon Echo, and of course, CNET.com. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye, folks.
Bye.